Everybody ready to roll?
I think so.
Let's kick off the meeting. We'll do a little bit of a roll call. Alder Johnson. Here. Chad Van Handel.
Here.
Jim Bloomer, I'm assuming is excused.
He is excused.
And here. And Mike Borley, I'm assuming is excused as well. Or we just don't know.
Mike has actually sent a letter to the mayor's office and he'll be resigning.
Okay.
I think the retirement and travel and things like that are harder for him to make a commitment.
Well, tell him that we had a cake for his retirement and he missed
delicious.
it.
It was delicious.
It was delicious, so he should have showed up. Okay, well, that's good to know. So we'll be adding a new member, I think.
We'll be seeking to replace him in
Okay,
this position.
great.
Thank you.
Okay, first item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda for June 7th. Do we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion by Alder Johnson, a second by Chad Van Handel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
That was easy, it's good. Everybody kind of knows their roles for today. Minutes from our last meeting on December 12th. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Approve. Second.
A motion from Alderman Johnson and a second from Chad Van Handel. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, into regular business. Our first item is a request by Robert from Zozo World to amend the terms of the Community Development Revolving Loan Fund. And I read in the documents, it has something to do with road construction. So sorry about this.
It's a plethora.
But if you could just give us a gist of what's going on, it'd be very
I mean, we've had a
helpful.
plethora of things that,
Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that.
I apologize.
Nope. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to open the floor for public comment. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Informational piece on it. Yeah. Wait a second, I think, should I, there's a, okay, we're good. All right, it's listed.
Okay.
The background was, okay. Real fast, I was just gonna give a fast summary for what's going on with the loan for Zozo's Kitchen. So Zozo's was granted a loan, back in June of no, not June, that's right where we are. Back,
The original loan was,
August of 17.
yep, we had August 31st of 2017 is when the original loans came into play.
okay, and then we did go, 1 year, interest only,
In February of 2018.
right, and that ended in January of 2019, and so he's back to full payments at this point. He's experiencing some construction on Webster with the slowdown in business. Oh, there we are. Zozo's World was granted 2 community development revolving loan funds in August of 2017. One loan was for working capital, and one loan was used to purchase this property at 1035 Vanderbrack Street. In January of 2018, the loan committee granted Zozo World LLC a 12-month interest-only option, which ended in January of 19. Zozo's World is now experiencing a slowdown in business due to Webster Avenue reconstruction, which will continue until late fall of 2019, according to, probably into the November time, according to the Department of Public Works office. World LLC is asking for the loan committee for another 12-month interest only and revised loan terms. We have a schedule there. There's a spreadsheet that shows the building loan remaining at $16,456.13 with the new proposed terms. What we would like to propose to the loan committee is to extend the remaining balance over 15 years, so go out to the original terms. Loan interest will remain the same at 4%, with the first 12 months being interest-only payments. The second spreadsheet shows the working capital loan remaining balance of $24,847.41. With the new proposed terms, extending the remaining balance over 3 years, interest will remain at 5%, with the first 12 months being interest-only payments. The third spreadsheet shows working capital loan and payment history since the loan originated in 10/1/17. And the fourth spreadsheet just shows the loan history since the loan originated on 10/1/17. And the fifth was general loan data. So that kind of gives you a summary of what you're looking at, the new terms, what was the origination, and general background. So thank you.
And then also on this, if I'm correct, Wendy, right, we met on this back in December of 18 in our last meeting. Nothing really to do with our loan terms, but I think Zozo's had increased their original loan from the bank, which I think was Bank of Luxembourg, right?
Yeah, they refinanced.
Refinanced that.
What they had was some credit card debt that they had bought equipment and
Yep.
things for the business with, and they rolled that all into a traditional loan with Bank of Luxembourg.
Yep.
So they restructured that loan. And we kept the same terms, just wanted to inform the loan committee
Yep.
of their financial picture.
Okay. Why don't we, I think we still have the motion in place, right, that we've opened the floor for public comment. So Robert, if you could just kind of give us an update on, hey, what's been happening, right? Why are you back here today? Give us a gist on that.
We're back here today just because for the fact that, you know, it's so right now, we're just in a slow spot with construction, and like this winter was just a killer to me. I've ice shoves have ripped off my rooftop units, things like that, and you know, just trying to get by as I'm waiting for my catering season to get into full swing, so that way I'm getting more monies coming in through those outlets. I had to go back to work for my dad to get more income. My wife went back to work to Bellin to get income and insurance. So, you know, we're trying to make a go of this. You know, we're both averaging 60, 80 hours a week, you know, just to not lose this business, because this is my, you know, this is my dream. This is what I don't want to do since I can't remember. And, you know, we're just looking for a little help to get through to this little slow time right now and push forward and keep on going. You know, there's so much potential with that building, what's going on, and when the road gets done and the connection to Bay Beach, and I want to get down to when Green Bay Packaging is going to have all that big, the big building they're putting up. I want to try to maximize when they got 1,000 laborers there a day, things like that. But I need help to get through until all this stuff gets into full swing. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And right now, you know, if we could help, you know, if we could help us with that. I don't know if there's any other monies that there's available for funds that would be beneficial to help us, because we still got a bunch of debt. And like, I gotta get my taxes paid for the year, otherwise I'm gonna lose my liquor license, things like that. And we're just struggling a little bit because of things like traffic flow, and basically some days it's literally impossible to get to my building. There was one day where there was 3 different routes to my building blocked off from road construction, from railroads to Webster to Irwin to Vanderwyk. There was literally one way that you had to weave through 4 different city towns. I know that I wasn't able to get a lot of mail, or people from my neighborhood would collect my mail, and so like I was late on a few city things, and so it's just we're trying to get through and make it go of it. You know, we want to revitalize that area of town and bring it up. I don't know. And I'm sorry if I'm rambling.
Nope, totally get it. Any questions at all?
How much of your income would you say percentage-wise comes from the facility versus your off-site catering?
Right now, catering is probably 45%, restaurants 55%.
Okay, so it's a,
You know,
Restaurant's a substantial
the
part of what we
catering,
do.
the catering is holding the restaurant up till we can get traffic flow right
Sure.
now. You know, barely, but we're holding on, you know, and
Yeah.
now I got the farmer's market on Wednesday, so that's helping a little bit. You know, but you know, I'm doing everything I can. I'm doing the Thursday Schwabame thing that they got there at their park. You know, so it's not like I'm sitting on my laurels I'm trying to get money into the bank. You know, we're pushing every avenue I can. I'm pushing. Just,
How's your employee, have you been able to keep employees, and are you?
I'm finally in a situation where I'm pretty happy and confident with my employees. I had a few employees that I caught stealing a bunch of product from me, which is unfortunate. And I had a bunch of employees that just took advantage, and it's unfortunate, you know. But now I got a bunch of employees. We've definitely hit our low income market, and actually I probably doubled that from what I've actually got reported. You know, I've got 25 different employees that we have employed, you know, all part-time.
Sure.
But I would say 90% of them are low income and of minority race. I'm sorry. Huh? Yeah. So, I mean, we really try to bring good things to the city and that part of town, which is, I think, a ton of potential for what could become something great with now they're revitalizing Bay Beach. And I want to really, you know, and everything that's going there, it could be really cool. And I'd like to get that wall painted too, but that's a different topic.
And you do own the building, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so our property taxes are current?
They are right now, but I got till the end of July.
Okay. All right.
Which, you know, that's another thing I'm a little nervous about because of all the debt that I've had to incur, because my bank loan, the escrow didn't start until after this year, then everything will be escrowed in.
Sure.
How much are you looking at for that property tax payment that's due in July?
It's like $12,000.
Okay, do you think when you think about sort of your summer catering schedule, June and July, I mean, how is that?
June isn't as busy as July,
Okay.
you know, so I'm trying to pick up 3, 4, 5 more corporate jobs before end of June.
Sure.
You know, I'm nervous if I'm gonna make it. I'm not gonna lie. You know, if I don't get through this, I probably got legitimately 2, 3 months left before I'm gonna be out of luck on, I've tapped everything out unless I can get some help. Because I'm stretched as thin, I've pulled as many cards as I can from, you know, between avenues of my parents and things for extra funding and their businesses and stuff that, you know, they've helped me as much as they can. And, you know, I really firmly believe we've got a good thing coming. We just got to get the people there. I think all people attest the food is delicious.
The food's delicious. I've been there a couple times, and it's really good. If you're a barbecue fan, it's really good.
On Wednesdays, I hand carve brisket on site, so it's a pretty cool thing at the market.
Chad, do you have any questions?
I think so.
Anybody else? Questions? No.
Motion to close the floor?
Second?
Motion to close and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anything else from Wendy, the group, that we need to chat?
As long as there's no new cash going into this, there's no new obligation for hiring low to moderate income people. It's just a refinance, so it would just be changing those terms and putting the no interest in there. So
Yep.
but if we put new money in, you have to start all over with those hiring terms then.
Well, I'm not worried.
So,
I'm sorry.
I just wanted you to know that, like, if you do put more money in, that's what would have to happen with that.
Okay.
And he's actually met all of his low and moderate income requirements for this loan. As a matter of fact, he's doubled his requirements. Met those, yeah.
I mean, I would take a stab at this first. I mean, it seems to me that the whole purpose of the revolving loan fund is, you know, that gap financing and to help people in times of need. And I think here we have, I wouldn't say a circumstance totally out of your control in that, you know, the planning of that process was noticed well in advance. But I think you're right that on the back end, there's a lot of opportunity to be had. And I think, I mean, the addition of new employees, but most importantly, just the accessibility of that site. And I would attest to the fact that anybody that I've ever talked to that's sampled his food is really attested to the quality.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think the quality, you know, is the issue. And so maybe, Wendy, I would even, depending on the outcome of the vote here today, you know, if there's someone over at SBDC that, you know, can maybe assist with some construction marketing or, you know, I mean, things of that nature, if maybe you
And
could.
business mentoring is always nice too.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of wonderful resources out there that we'll connect them to.
Yeah, but I mean, for us to, I think to insist that we need full payment now when it's pretty evident that that's the type of decision I'll put them under, that doesn't help us either.
Yep.
And so
I did
I
talk
would
to
support
Department of
this.
Public Works, and they offered extra signage to help with location and helping him as well. So they're in favor of that and are willing to work with him on all of extra exposure for him.
Okay. And the other thing, Wendy, that I would maybe request of staff, pending outcome, of course, of the vote, is maybe being proactive with addressing that property tax situation, to see if there's something that we can do, not necessarily us specifically, but what resources are out there that might be able to help them be proactive about addressing that problem before it becomes delinquent.
Mhm.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I would move to approve the modified terms as proposed by staff.
And I would second that.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We agree. Hey, I'm sorry about what's gone on with the road and understand what that's done to traffic, and we want to do what we can here to help you and at least reduce this payment schedule for the coming 12 months. And, I think we'll all look forward to that road being done in November, and what little bit of inconvenience it is to me. I know it's a way bigger deal for you. So I hope that this helps.
Very much.
So,
Thank you.
and thank you for coming in and also addressing it right up front. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, guys.
Great. Good luck.
Yep. Thank you.
So I'll connect with you following, and we'll move on to our next item.
Okay. Our next,
You're all set to go.
Okay. Thank you, guys. Much appreciated.
No problem.
you bet, thank you.
Have a good day.
Yeah.
Keep cooking, it's
I'll connect with you a
good.
little later. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
All right, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. So, let's see, so the city received, did you read it, or?
Yeah, our next agenda item, at number 2, is we've received a Chapter 7 bankruptcy notice from Cineviz. Notice is dated May 17th, and they are requesting to write off their defaulted loan balance of $33,291.25.
So Cineviz LLC was granted a loan on January 2nd, 2013 for $115,000, with the remaining loan balance of $33,291.25. The company has filed Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and the city of Green Bay was not named as a creditor. The filing also indicates that Cineviz has 0 in assets, and after any administrative expenses are paid, no funds will be available to unsecured creditors. The meeting for creditors is scheduled on July 18th, 2019 at 11 o'clock was my notification. I just thought I should bring this to loan committee, and since it seems like there's no way to recoup any funds, that we maybe just take action on our part and clear this up. Looking to the loan committee for advice.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to,
Let me just a question first, Chad. So Wendy, I presume in this instance that we did not have a guarantee on personal assets?
We did have that, but they're saying that there are, yeah, we did have that. I did talk to our attorney to see if there was anything we could do. And I'm not sure how that works exactly, so that's a great question.
The Chapter 7, correct me if I'm wrong, would only apply to the business entity. And so unless, and I'm just curious by the legal term that we were not listed as a creditor, unless it means something that I don't know, if
Let me
we're
go back
not.
and give you a little history on that part.
Yeah, please do.
If you don't mind. So what happened was our loan was given to them for HVAC equipment for cooling their computer room. So it was for essentially air conditioning that was specialized for their computer. I think the person before me never filed a UCC filing on that item, so that's why we don't have anything. So we can't find anything that the city was listed. So I just don't know if the paperwork didn't get followed through or what, but when I went to find UCC filings on the particular items that typically would be done with equipment-related loans, I couldn't find anything.
But aren't they, meaning Cineviz, still required to list you as a creditor and have that show up in the filing? And my understanding of bankruptcy proceedings, and of course I could be wrong, is that if you're not listed as a creditor, that could prevent the debt from being discharged.
I don't
Now,
know
if they don't
there's
have
anything like that.
assets, that may not matter, but that's where I go back to the personal guarantee. And I understand that the easy thing would be to write this off, but I'm also looking to do the responsible thing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I was a little curious that he could sell the business off. So he sold off his assets.
Now, that's the type of thing that you can contend in a bankruptcy proceeding.
He sold off his assets and Elevate 97 bought his assets.
But did not buy
And
any
then
of the
filed the
debt.
bankruptcy. So this is
That's
kind of a messy
ridiculous.
one.
Knowing that,
And then
I
he's
would say I
working for
really don't
something.
feel comfortable
Okay.
taking
And-
action on that recommendation then.
So why don't I do a little bit of work with the attorney and follow up with that? Is that,
I think there'd be two things. One is exactly what you're saying. Wendy is, hey, let's follow up with our attorney and see, right, hey, what possible mechanism and recourse do we hear before we just write it off? The second is, this is not the first time then that this issue of not having done UCC filings has come up.
this is the only one I think.
No, there's something before, I think with the Miller, H.C.
H.C.
Miller
Miller.
thing. There was something that came up on that, and we hadn't done UCC filings, and so now it's like.
Now we do.
Well-
After that, I mean,
But this is now the second, and so do we need to go back and review all
I
of
did.
these loans and see whether or not we've done our UCC filings?
Cinefis is the last old loan that's out there.
That
Everything
was
else has
before my
been touched
time.
by
Okay,
Wendy.
okay. So this is the last possible one where there's exposure of not having these UCC filings.
right.
Okay.
And when I went back, yeah, we had to do a little, might have been something that I just not aware of.
Okay.
But then I guess, yeah, to Brian's question, so let's just use those. So would he sign a personal guarantee
He did.
against these? Okay, so typically they are signing a personal guarantee then.
Every one of our
Mhm.
loans
Okay.
sign a personal guarantee because
Okay.
they're very high risk typically.
Right, mhm. Okay.
And every partner must sign one. So when we have, like Gather had 6 people involved, every one of them signed.
Mhm.
Okay, just so that I understand correctly, based on what you verbally told us, we have a situation here where the business owner sold the business. We have a personal guarantee. The business is filed for bankruptcy, but we don't know the status of the individual.
That's right. I would have to do some investigation on that.
And when is the hearing on this bankruptcy proceeding?
It's
July 18th.
July
Okay, so we have
18th
time.
at 11 o'clock, so we have a little bit of time.
Okay,
Give
and,
him
and and the reason I think it may be worthwhile to contest this, because again, if I'm not mistaken, depending on the terms of that business sale, I think a judge could rewind and, make alternative decisions related to how assets were distributed during the sale if a creditor is not listed during the bankruptcy proceeding.
Because generally speaking, you list the creditors you want to get rid of in your bankruptcy proceedings, and if you're not listed, they're not trying to get rid of your debt.
Right. So again, I think to me, part of it is looking at 35,000 and how much effort, it is worthwhile.
It is
But I
worthwhile.
don't know that we know that answer necessarily until perhaps we have a conversation with legal. So I would move that we refer this back to staff for some additional work, answers to those questions and.
Certainly.
Okay.
I would second that.
We have a motion by Alderman Johnson, a second by Chad Van Handel to refer this motion back to staff. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is approved. That wraps that one.
I did yes.
Yeah, it's the motion because they can't change the
Okay.
wording.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can't
So if you
change
click
it.
yes.
But
yes,
I
the
will
referral.
change it in a minute.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go to the informational section then, which is the revolving loan status report.
Yep, just wanted to bring everybody up to date with where we are as of the month of June. Everyone is current, and they're turning in their paperwork really nicely with the low to moderate income positions that are being created, so everybody's current with that as well. As you can see at the bottom, I have about 124,000 available funds, and I have a couple of applications in the pipeline, so we'll see how that all plays out for that. So you can see that we have roughly 17 loans for the community development revolving loan. And then on the second sheet is our economic development revolving loan fund, which is our minority focused, and we have 2 of those out, and 5,000, a little over 5,000 remaining to be able to grant out for that program. If you have any questions, you can let me know, but everyone's
So,
current and on track.
I don't understand, so some of the revolving loan funds got disbanded and shifted to other, because they're not funding revolving loan funds? The state isn't funding revolving loan funds anymore, is that correct, or?
So there is some cities where that hasn't, but we're an entitlement city.
Okay, so ours was before, what, like 1992 or something, is that kind of
Well,
how?
there were cities that got community development block grant funds, and the big problem was that the communities were not getting them out in circulation, so they were sitting in
Oh, sure.
accounts and were not, they were just in accounts in cities. And ours is a little different scenario. Obviously, as soon as we get them in, we try and
Sure.
get them out. But I
Sure.
know before I started, there was a large amount in there that was not moving. And we don't seem to have that problem now. It seems to be working really well.
Okay, good.
But the city of Green Bay is an entitlement community, meaning that we have,
Well, an entitlement community is one that receives funds from HUD every year.
Okay.
And what happens with that is you have to meet certain criteria, you have to be so big, you have to be doing so much. And with that money that comes in every year, part of that we have broken off for the revolving loan fund to put back in there. But the other communities got a one-time deposit of money for that type of a program, and then it was just to be revolved back into the communities, and they found with loan rates that they hadn't been using those revolving loan funds because everything else had been so competitive. So with stagnant funds, congressionally, you're not really supposed to be holding federal funds in private entities, so, which would be a city entity.
Sure.
So those monies, if they are not being revolved back out, are going back to state and federal funds.
actually, they closed all the ones that are not entitlement cities. You had to pay back your money and
Yeah.
collect those funds, yeah.
But,
And
you
so
know-
anyway, they,
I guess my question was, so we're eventually, there's gonna be more money that's coming into the revolving loan fund because of we're an entitlement city.
that would be our request,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Yes, and I
Plus the
believe that in the
Right.
2019 entitlement money, there was money put aside for this
I think
program.
and I don't remember the amount, we would have covered it at the
Krista would have,
RDA
yeah.
meeting, I think last month, and I just don't remember.
I think it's 100,000, but I'm not
Usually it's
positive on
about-
that number.
about
That'd be the
that
number
number.
that I would say, but I'm,
Yeah, usually about 100,000 is what I request for.
and when would that
Election.
typically flow?
Whenever Congress decides to put money in our account.
When the money gets here, okay, got it. So we can have the decision made here and think we know what's available, it doesn't.
Usually September-ish.
But we've gotten it as late as October.
Mhm.
Okay.
which
We'll
is
say
fun.
Q4.
Yeah. So there
And
is,
And then specifically, I mean, I know Monkey Tails is an operating location, but everything's fine there. I mean, there's no,
Is this food truck yet?
right,
Okay. Trailer.
yeah, he's making his payments and
And everyone else seems to be up to date, other than, right, the issue which we discussed, which is now the oldest loan in the portfolio.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you. With that, I think, why don't we, someone make a motion to adjourn? and we'll-
so moved.
Second? Second. Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Right.
Aye. Meeting's adjourned. Wow, done in a little over a half hour. Really well
Thank you,
done.
everyone.